And we're underway now on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds from St James's Park. A throw on the far side for Forest. From a ball up the pitch, from kick-off back to halfway, with the Brazilian defender Morato. Milenkovic, who's playing in the centre of the back three, finds Jair Cunha. And away by Savona. First touch for the Italian, given straight back to Newcastle United. Chow to Trippier, up to Bruno, helped forwards. Forest header. Elanga trying to win it back, cleared by Williams, out on the far side. Kieran Trippier with a throw. At the east stand on halfway, Sandro Tonali back to Chow and now Botman. Forest beaten at home by Sunderland last Saturday, 17th in the table. Newcastle 15th at the start of the afternoon. There are other games at 2 o'clock as well. Villa against Burnley, Everton Palace and Wolves Brighton. United have got it with Tonali and now Trippier on halfway. Chow to Botman, just to the left of the centre circle in his own half. Sven Botman to Bruno Guimaraes. Anthony Gordon's got a couple of yards on Savona, the defender. Doesn't take him on, comes inside, drifts in towards the centre, gives it to Chow and up to the feet of Elanga on the right wing. Elanga's ball into the area, was ahead of both Voltemada and Tonali. It's cleared by Forest. Now they've got it back, United, through Elanga, and it's cleared. And Ndoye for the visitors. Back to defend, and Williams as well under pressure to turn it clear. It's headed on by Wood. Bouncing ball. Yates challenges with Chow. Puts himself about Ryan Yates, doesn't he? Not a lot of finesse. Plenty of physical stuff. Newcastle won it, but now they are without the ball. Gibbs White for Forest in the middle. Over to Ndoye, one of their summer acquisitions. Brought in from Bologna in Italy. Laid off and now up the left wing. Williams looking for Ndoye. Away by Newcastle, but given straight back to Nottingham Forest in the 3rd minute. Yates back to halfway to Milenkovic. No goals. Anderson comes to get it. Left side of central midfield. To the feet of Nico Williams, the Welsh international. He's got it again, Williams, on the far touchline. Anderson back to Morato, and Elliot Anderson with space in midfield and a pass that finds its way to Nicolo Savona. Gibbs White, low cross, blocked by Botman, cleared by Botman. And now Anthony Gordon the opportunity to move up the pitch, carries it 10 yards and then whips it inside to Bruno. Had his head up, Gordon played a good pass, and Bruno likewise into space for Trippier. Elanga up ahead, Trippier edge of the area, looking for Voltemada. It's in the hands of Sells.
Yeah, good play, good run, good defending, to be fair. Just got his body weight across Voltemada. Sells was able to come and pick up.
Brought out from the penalty area by Forest, and Anderson's come into the defensive third to receive it from Morato. Plays it back up there to Dan Ndoye. It's a Swiss international, and he's held on to it nicely. Brought Gibbs White into this move, and now Savona on the near touchline in the final third. Back it goes to Yates, closed down by Tonali. He plays it backwards to Milenkovic and Morato. Newcastle unchanged for this one, and everybody bar Voltemada is back to defend as Williams goes on the outside, hangs up the cross, which is easily claimed by Nick Pope.
Bread and butter. He's not naturally left-sided, Williams, and he's dug it out, but it's just one of those hanging crosses. It's bread and butter for Nick Pope.
Burn from left back up the line to Gordon, and now back to Botman, and Bruno sweeps it over to Trippier on the far touchline. Elanga inside to Voltemada, takes the first touch, lays it off to Trippier, and he finds Bruno, who drags it back and away from Chris Wood. Tonali just ahead of halfway to Burn, and back to Botman. Newcastle not forcing it. 0-0 in the 6th minute, keeping possession. Malik Chow. Bruno first time out to Trippier. Elanga has picked up a decent position, gives it to Bruno, then gets it back. Anthony Elanga. And a challenge from Morato. They're both on the floor in a heap. Referee Peter Banks lets play go on. Elliot Anderson puts it out. Seemed like they were both challenging for the ball.
Nothing wrong with the tackle, just two of them.
And they both went flying.
Yeah, they both went flying. Just broke between the two of them. Defender stood his ground.
Well, Elanga's back up, and Morato.
His knee could be.
He's a big lad, Morato, 6'4". Obviously had to get down to challenge
like
Elanga.
He twisted his knee.
They've got Murillo, who would normally play, another Brazilian, particularly good on the ball and bringing it out from the back, on the bench after sustaining a back injury, landed awkwardly in the Europa League the other night. Morato is on his feet. Elanga throws the ball back in, returns it to Forest, and Morato to bring it forwards with a chip pass, looking for Wood. Chow makes the challenge. Nico Williams has it on the touchline. No goals yet on BBC Radio Newcastle. Back to Sells in the 6-yard box. Pressure on the ball from United. Gordon and Byrne, and Gordon blocks Jair Cunha's forward ball. It's a throw not far from the corner flag for Forest, as Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall stand side by side. They must have dispensed with that rule that you can only have one coach in the technical area, because they're always at it. Ange Postecoglou on his own, hands in pockets, with his navy padded coat. Played back by United. Trippier brings it forwards quickly over the halfway line. Voltemada edge of the area. Elanga 30 yards out on the touchline. Tanali exchanging passes with Trippier. Now Chow on halfway for Newcastle United. Botman. Byrne, short ball to Gordon, brought inside for Joelinton, back to Gordon. They've quickened the play here, and Voltemada to Tonali, and now Gordon again. That's nicely worked. Trippier up the line for Elanga. Now the chance to deliver the cross, and they get a corner kick out of this. Elanga's ball in, deflected behind at the near post.
Yeah, big boys will go forward. Watch Forest the other night. Didn't defend set pieces at all well.
Well, they do have height though. Milenkovic 6'5", Morato 6'4", Wood 6'3", but Newcastle, Voltemada, Byrne, Botman, Chow all in there. Trippier's corner. It's Chow at the back of the box who heads it towards the 6-yard line and away with a clearance. Gordon trying to keep the attack alive. Forest send it towards halfway. Trippier with a downward header to Tanali. And Botman, under a bit of pressure, was facing his goalkeeper, but saw a gap, plays it forward to Joelinton. Bruno, left of centre, to the feet of Gordon. Could be a big afternoon for him. He's started well, lively, looking in the mood. A reverse pass to Joelinton, out to Byrne, and stuck out of play by Milenkovic.
Good link-up play again, wasn't it? Movement's good.
Dan Byrne, long throw, about in line with the edge of the box in the 10th minute. Every red shirt back for Nottingham Forest. Botman, Voltemada, Joelinton on the 6-yard line. Couple of Newcastle headers on the ball, and then a foul on Gibbs White. Whistle's gone from Peter Banks as he brought the ball away. In the meantime, the match has been stopped. Ryan Yates of Nottingham Forest has an issue, so they haven't taken the free kick yet. Yates is sitting down in the penalty area. The medical team were ready, but they are not required. Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Yates doesn't need treatment, and the match can resume. Milenkovic back into his penalty area to Morato, out to Williams. Inside to Anderson on the edge of the box. Gives it to Sells, flat-footed. Sells, but he's got it clear. Gibbs-White, that's a heavy touch. Dan Burns onto this and does well to find Gordon, who shifts it. Gordon, nicely done. Trippier, edge of the penalty area, low cross, Joelinton! Straight at Sells, first time effort from Joelinton, off the inside of his right boot, anywhere else but that, and it's in. But it was straight at the keeper.
Yeah, he didn't really get a great deal on it, did he? Just scoops it up in the air with his left foot.
Chris Wood holding it up and then playing it back to Yates. Still in their half Forest. In fact, they're in their own penalty area again now. Sells gets another pass, takes a touch, chips it towards the halfway line. Botman's got the better of Gibbs-White in the air. It's on to Byrne, then Joelinton. They look for Gordon, but Newcastle have lost it. Anderson with Bruno at his back plays a short ball to Jair Cunha. Gibbs-White took it in a tight area, then Anderson gets away. Approaching the halfway line, no goals yet. Elliot Anderson still carrying it. He's brought the ball a long way. Tonali goes to challenge, stops him making any further progress. He plays it back and then gets it again from Morato. Anderson to Ndoye. And Williams for Ndoye in the corner on the Nottingham Forest left. Botman out there with him, Trippier as well. Back it goes to Williams, sends it in with his stronger right foot. Byrne, big header away. Voltemada, it hit him on the chest rather than it being controlled. And Nottingham Forest win it back in the 12th minute. Morato. Dink into the box to Gibbs-White, chested down. Botman intercepts. Tonali takes it away out wide. Gives it to Trippier. He's played it against Anderson. And Tonali here with 2 red shirts on him is able to see it out for a Newcastle United throw. And they've given it straight back to Forest from the throw. Hasn't necessarily been the best start without it being terrible either.
No, it's been a cagey start, hasn't it?
Bruno trying to win the ball from Anderson. Joelinton now closes down Yates, but he plays it to Savona, and it's through the legs of Dan Byrne. And the Italian wing-back is into the penalty area, half a header away from Botman. Then Tonali with an important block. Newcastle think Byrne was fouled, and the referee...
Delayed reaction.
Took a couple of seconds and then decided he agreed. Whistle's gone, free kick on the edge of the area. Nicolo Savona, 6'4" himself, tall 22-year-old, showed good skill there, didn't he, to nutmeg Byrne and come away with it. Newcastle, this is nice. Elanga and Bruno for Gordon, 5 yards outside the area. Elanga's on the left wing, taking on Jair Cunha. Plays a 1-2 with Gordon. Elanga left-footed cross. And I don't think that was quite the clearance that Morato intended. It's gone out. Newcastle think it's a corner. And the referee agrees, despite Nottingham Forest claiming a throw, and Ange Postecoglou.
How can a referee give a corner kick there? The linesman's looking straight across the line. He doesn't give it.
Postecoglou shaking his head, with a smirk on his face. He thinks it should have been a throw. I think it came off the knee of the defender. And the decision is corner kick. 15 minutes, 0-0. Leagues' end of St James's Park. Oh, there's a problem now
again
with the.
This is every week.
With one of the officials, part of their communications, their earpiece. Peter Banks, the referee, is just saying wait. It's the assistant on the near side, Eddie Smart, whose equipment isn't working. And now I think we're ready to go with the corner from the right boot of Kieran Trippier, clipped to the back of the box and headed over by Newcastle to Joelinton. Saved by Sells. Back over from Botman towards Joelinton near post, but denied, and then behind for a goal kick.
Kept it alive well, didn't he?
As he tried to follow up, Nottingham Forest cleared it onto Joelinton, and then out it went.
Save. Strong hand to it, Sells.
Williams inside, Anderson edge of the area. Tonali first to that. Just quicker to it than Ndoye. Some appeals for a free kick as Tonali went down. Nothing given. Newcastle trying to win it back on the far side. Williams through a gap to Anderson. Inside to Yates. Goes back to the left wing to Williams. There isn't anything on forward, so it's a short ball back to Anderson. Joelinton makes a challenge, and it's a throw. From a team that like to sit deep and counter-attack. You can see the difference in the Nottingham Forest style of play. A lot of short balls out from the back. Now a free kick awarded to the away side next to the halfway line on the left. Tonali, the guilty party. Milenkovic to Anderson. Back again to the big defender. Jay Cunha's clearance is closed down, and on the edge of the area he just gets it clear. Got away with it there. Up to Ndoye.
Oh, well played.
Holds off Chow.
Good touch.
And rolls it up the line to Gibbs-White on this near right-hand side. Still 0-0 at St James's Park. Anderson, they've lost that to Joelinton, and he's seen the keeper off his line. And Joelinton, rather than lob him, has ended up just topping the ball, and it's gone, I don't know, about a couple of inches off the grass and wide. You don't often see goalkeeper out of his goal and somebody scoring in the bottom corner. Maybe he did try to get underneath it, but didn't quite get the technique right.
No, it didn't work, that one, did it?
Well, I suppose it could go down as a chance. He's had a couple of those, Joelinton, the header, and the first time shot in the box. Trippier looking for Elanga, who can't hold it. Morato won it, and Anderson carries. Anderson edge of the area, goes down. Oh, wow. Free kick awarded to Nottingham Forest. Wonder whether he went down a bit too easily there as the contact came in. It's on the left, on the 18-yard line. Peter Banks gives himself time before making decisions.
Soft.
Had a good look there and gave it the way of Nottingham Forest.
A few black and white shirts around him, but he goes down easy enough, doesn't he?
He started well, Elliot Anderson. He's been on the ball, wants to make things happen. And discussions now are over who will take the free kick. Morgan Gibbs-White fancies it. Also have Nico Williams there. Anderson is in the D. Newcastle have got every black and white shirt in the box, and a wall comprising Byrne, Voltemada and Botman. It's a big one. Pope's by his left-hand post. BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. Nottingham Forest will be happy with the way things have started. Newcastle have to defend this. Don't want to be giving them any further encouragement or opportunities. Referee's not happy about something. Goes to the wall. Now retreats. He's pointing at somebody. There's pushing in the box. Tonali and Yates. It's always Yates when it's Nottingham Forest. Pushing Tonali, who pushes him back. Referee's gone to speak to them. Now the free kick can be taken. Williams ahead of the ball. Gibbs-White to the left of it. Morgan Gibbs-White pushed away by Nick Pope. Was an effort that lacked power right into the centre of Pope's goal, and he was able to repel it. Cleared as far as the halfway line. Diagonal ball forwards. That'll be a Newcastle free kick this time. Bruno fouled after he won it back, and then he swings the arms up at the Gallagher end, calls for more noise, and supporters do as he asks. 20 minutes played. What do you think of the opening period, John Anderson?
Like the crowd sedate. It's been no real pace to it, has it? Some decent football being played, mate. Well played.
Botman up to Voltemada, held it well, used it well. Trippier lifted up the right wing. Morato is there with Elanga. Morato's header goes out. They can take a quick one here. Elanga does to Bruno. Back again. They get another throw. 25 yards or so from the Nottingham Forest net. Ball is with Kieran Trippier and it goes back to Malik Chow. Botman in the centre circle. Gordon pulls out to the near touchline. Byrne up to Joelinton inside to Tonali. They almost lost at Newcastle, but Tonali found a pass back to Botman. And now Sven Botman rolls it forwards to Sandro Tonali, who knocks it away from one. Tried to drive on, but Jair Cunha has won it and then played it straight to Sven Botman. Anthony Gordon back to Dan Byrne. They are close to their own penalty box, Newcastle, and indeed Byrne gives it to Nick Pope. That's a firm kick away from Pope. Milenkovic is struggling with the ball under the challenge of Voltemada, but Forest have been able to bring it under control, and now Anderson back to Milenkovic in the centre of the back three. Sells at the edge of the area towards Gibbs-White. On his chest on the touchline, inside to Yates and back again to Gibbs-White. Brilliant from Nottingham Forest. Gibbs-White in the area. Chow makes the... wasn't quite a block from Chow. It was a flick away. And then it hit Chris Wood and Kieran Trippier got back to clear.
Oh, his touch is awful.
Probably wasn't expecting it to come his way.
Oh. It's a great ball played in as well. They walk it well down this right side.
Bruno up to Voltemada. Elanga starts to make the run. Voltemada is tripped. Bruno takes a quick free kick square to Joelinton. And now he's on his way. Gordon taking on Savona on the outside. Gordon's cross. It's off the head of Milenkovic. Byrne pushes Gibbs-White to the floor.
Yeah, try and disguise it a little bit.
And some frustration setting in. 0-0. Jair Cunha rolls it back to Milenkovic, and now to Jair Cunha. Sells. And that ball from the Forest keeper is straight to Dan Byrne, but forwards it goes. Voltemada was offside, and it will be a goal kick. Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. If you wanted to listen to us through your smart speaker, if you have one, then just ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Unchanged today, United. Pope, Trippier, Chow, Botman, Byrne, Bruno, Tonali, Joelinton, Elanga, Gordon, Voltemada. And a goal elsewhere in the Premier League, one of the other 2 o'clocks. Wolves 1, Brighton 0. Trippier. The line for Elanga, right on the touchline, back to Trippier. Played against the shins of Yates, and a throw which is taken immediately. Tonali to Elanga for Bruno, back through for Elanga, but cut out by Williams, and now Wood. Referee again delays the whistle, gives the free kick. Eddie Howe puts his hands on his head,
this
and
is
along
exactly
with Jason
what he was
Tyndall,
like at Leeds.
Goes to the 4th official, Rob Jones, to complain about that decision.
This is exactly what he was like at Leeds. Every contact he blew up for.
Yeah, well, he hasn't changed his approach to refereeing, has he? And the evidence of 25 minutes today. Peter Banks, Joelinton here with Gibbs-White. It's gone backwards from Joelinton's header. Chow's got to be quick, and Doy's all over him. Chow back into the penalty area, and then from the corner up the line to Trippier. Defended it well in the end after being put under pressure. Trippier against Williams. Hit his hand. but it's throw in. Have they given the free kick? They have given a free kick. But it was throw in only. Chow to Botman and Byrne. Gordon wants it to feet, gets it. Savona at his back, following him infield. Gordon turns and comes back out on this near side. Strong running from Gordon, looking sharp. Not a lot of movement around him though. Short ball back to Joelinton, on to Gordon. Did him no favours with the pass. And Forest with it. And start again with Sells. 0-0. Sliced that, Matt Sells. And Bruno Guimaraes has seen it out for a throw. What do they need to do better, Newcastle?
Need to quicken it up. Definitely need to quicken it up. It's too slow.
Another goal in the 2 o'clock kickoff. Aston Villa 1, Burnley 0. Goalless here. Chow for Trippier. Elanga back to Trippier, and inside for Bruno. Elanga makes the run and they get him in. Anthony Elanga's cross. Oh, the defender went for a diving header, missed it, and then on the edge of the box, Byrne challenges for it, and Joelinton onto Gibbs-White. Shoulder to shoulder, Newcastle throw taken immediately. Joelinton inside, given away to Anderson, and then they say it's handball off Elliot Anderson, and Joelinton fouls him. And Nottingham Forest are going to get a free kick, and Peter Banks would like a word with Joelinton. He seems to have hurt himself in the process of making the challenge.
Was it challenge, was it?
He rather jumped into it. And now the referee is explaining things to Joelinton, who does still appear to be hurt. Sent Anderson tumbling. Definitely hit Anderson's hand initially. Referee couldn't see that. Don't know why the assistant couldn't. Play continued. Now it's the Nottingham Forest free kick. They're trying to get Gibbs-White in behind Dan Byrne, which they have, but Botman was covering, and then Chow clears from the middle. Gibbs-White has it again from that clearance. 0-0. Forest had some decent moments in attack.
Down this right side.
Yeah, Gibbs-White.
They're getting in behind Dan Byrne.
Savona again, it's overhit. Fortunately for Newcastle, it's overhit. And it's a goal kick. Pope rolls it forwards. Tanali comes to get it at the edge of the penalty area. 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. Bruno away from Anderson. And Trippier. Elanga made that run in behind. They didn't play the ball. And they go backwards with it. Bruno caught late there, was he? Referee let it go. Then Tanali was fouled and brings it back for the challenge on Bruno. Botman to Chow. Trippier moves into space. Gets it from Voltemada, who now gets back into the middle. And this is Elanga. Running with it. Elanga goes for the goal line, and
good defending.
It's a throw next to the corner flag.
Yeah, Williams did well. Just kept his eye on the ball.
Kieran Trippier is going to send it in. Chow and Voltemada on the edge of the box looking interested. And there are players at the front of the 6-yard box as well. It doesn't go into the middle, it goes back to Elanga. Then Trippier. Now a chipped pass for Bruno, who sends over a good ball into the 6-yard box. It's away by Forest. Joelinton brings it down nicely. Tanali now to Gordon. He lifts one in. Forest header clear. And then Ndoye controls. It's one back by Tanali. But then once again, the referee, after a couple of seconds has elapsed, brings it back for an earlier infringement, and it's a Nottingham Forest free kick.
It was exactly the same at Leeds.
It was Joe Linton, an aerial challenge on Williams. Half an hour played. He said they need to increase the pace and the tempo, Newcastle.
It's too slow.
Everything has that slow feel to it, doesn't it? It is a thing. It seems to be a thing on Sunday 2 o'clock kickoffs. Tanali. Anderson not giving him a second. Back to Chow. Botman looking for Voltemada. Couldn't hold it that time. No, Jair Cunha. Yates challenged by Bruno, down holding his face and rolling around. Free kick, Newcastle United. Well, you can see why it's a foul, but the rolling around, yeah, well, because of the contact, but I don't know if it warranted that. Bruno's still down holding his face. Where was the contact from the arm? Did the arm catch him on the neck or something?
Caught him in the chest. He's put his arm out. I mean, he's boot Yates, yet Joe Linton cuts Anderson in half.
Inconsistent.
Well, he was inconsistent at Leeds. He was awful at Leeds.
Peter Banks is the referee. Newcastle United 0-0 with Nottingham Forest. Forest chanting about the Premier League and how they don't like it. You can see why the away support, good away support as well, pretty much full section in level 7, why they don't agree with that decision. Tanali lifts the free kick in. Byrne tries to head it on and it's half cleared. Joe Linton to Gordon, 3 red shirts there though. Gordon, he rolled it up the line for Joe Linton, who held his position, and that move has broken down, hasn't come together yet at St James's Park for Newcastle United. Goalless. Played 33 minutes and trying to think of chances that they've had. The Joe Linton shot first time, comfortably saved by Sells, then the header that the goalkeeper was able to stop. That's about it.
Yeah, there hasn't been many.
Not seen much of Voltemada. He's had no service either. Elanga's been quiet as well at the right-hand side. Not been able to get him in behind. Here are Forest now with Nico Williams, and a back heel for Anderson, who carries it on but is tackled by Tanali. And then Tanali is fouled by Williams as he brought it away, and he's been yellow carded, and he is furious with the referee.
This referee's awful. He's absolutely abysmal.
And the challenge, the foul on Tanali, is the cue for a loud rendition of his chant. Sandro Ole, Ole, Ole. Needs to be more volume, but then there hasn't been a lot to get excited about yet. Maybe this. Elanga, they get him in behind into the corner, but the ball's beaten him. There's too much pace on the pass from Trippier. The right idea, but it was overhit, and goal kick for Nottingham Forest. And the Premier League's joint lowest scorers, Newcastle, are now the outright lowest scorers, because they went into this on 4 goals in 6 matches, which was the same as Villa and Wolves, and both Villa and Wolves have scored in their matches, which also kicked off at 2. And they've looked like a team that has scored 4 goals in 6.5 Premier League games this season.
Yeah, there hasn't been many chances, has there? Tonali's down.
And Newcastle's medical team are called onto the pitch. Sandro Tonali is holding left leg.
Left knee, is it?
The ball was out for a Nottingham Forest throw following a Joe Linton challenge. Lewis Miley warming up. Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app, where we bring you every Newcastle United match exclusively live. If you want to send us a message about the game to be read out at half-time on X at BBC Newcastle, or through WhatsApp, put BBC at the start, and the WhatsApp number is 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Tonali still receiving treatment. Didn't quite see what happened leading to him going down, unless it was from the earlier challenge a couple of minutes ago. And he was unable to keep playing. They're still looking at the knee or possibly thigh on his left leg. He's pulled up to his feet, walks over to the far touchline at the east stand. Hopefully he'll be okay to continue. Bit of a limp. Lewis Miley and Joe Willock now doing some exercises in the corner. That's why they make sure Tonali's okay. Newcastle have 10 players. It's 0-0, and they try and get the ball in behind Byrne, and it's Savona, but he can't keep it in. Right in the corner. Goal kick for Nick Pope. Played square to Chow in the penalty area. Now Trippier inside to Bruno, who on the half turn whips it away. Voltemada closing down the ball back to Sells. Out to this near side. Bernard pushed on. Botman came out to challenge. It got away from Gibbs White, fortunately.
Just let it run. What was always going to go out of play.
Chow on the diagonal, but not quite enough of an angle on it for Gordon. It's a sort of pass Fabian Schär often plays. He's on the bench today. It's too straight, and it's with goalkeeper Sells. 38 on the clock. Sandro Tonali is back on. Chow wins a header in the centre circle. Anderson is onto the second ball. Savona now to Jaya Cunha, and Sells away first time. Chow takes a touch with the inside of his right boot. Botman then controls and back to Pope. Botman goes square. Pope waits and then lifts it towards Elanga, but comfortably beaten in the air by Morato.
Not a great deal happening, is that?
And all the other games that started at 2 o'clock have a goal in them. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1. Gordon, a flick and a spin away from Savona, who trips him. Free kick on the left, close to halfway, and no further punishment. Botman with the ball, looking for Bruno. Player at his back, and it's Gibbs White now for Forest as they win possession in midfield. Sells takes it out to the right-hand side of his area, and it's a powerful kick swung away. Botman's brought it down, but Chris Wood is there. It's a red shirt rather than a black and white one that collects the ball following Botman's touch, and now Yates to Williams, goes on the outside. Tonali sliding in, turns it behind. Nottingham Forest corner kick.
Yeah, kept it well, didn't they? Yates, Yates wins it and feeds it left. first corner. Is it the first corner kick of the afternoon for Forest?
Nobody on either post.
No.
Milenkovic around the back. Got hands on Dan Burn. Ball comes in now, and Pope gets a fist to it. That's a good punch, and Elanga on the near side tried to get away and then trod on the ball. Forest throw into the box, away by Newcastle. Voltemada on his chest. Oh, that's lovely. Measured cushion pass over the head of an opponent for Tonali. Newcastle getting numbers forward now. It's exquisite from Voltemada. 0-0 with 4 minutes to half-time. Bruno finds Gordon, edge of the area. Onto Voltemada, but it's hit him and rolled away for Savona. Not the best back pass. Sells on a stretch in a bit of a hurry because it was going to go behind for a corner. Has cleared it out for a throw. Burn back to Botman on the halfway line. Joelinton comes to collect. Chow just behind the centre spot. Onto Trippier. Elanga 10 yards ahead of him, gets it, then returns it to Trippier. Inside to Chow, not really finding a way through Newcastle. Here's Bruno up to Tonali, flicked it, and it's blocked. Chow then wins it. Joelinton got options, one of them Voltemada to the right. He's having his shirt pulled. Play goes on. Trippier from Voltemada's pass, now Elanga. Back to Trippier. First time cross hung up to the near post, caught easily by Sells. The referee was right to let it go there, wasn't he?
Yeah, we had the ball in a decent area. On this occasion, you give the referee a little bit of credit.
Burn into his own penalty area. Pope forwards to Chow. Still goalless at St James's. Trippier to the feet of Elanga. Opportunity to run at Williams. Knocks it. Elanga and keeps going. Turns. Comes inside. Never really in full control after the first touch when he knocked it and ran. Caused problems. Still though, however, Forest get it clear. And Bruno, Voltemada comes deep, gets it. Gives it to Elanga, 25 yards out. Wide to Trippier, back inside to Elanga. And now Bruno. Voltemada goes into the middle. Bruno goes for the shot, which is deflected and then headed away. And it's found its way to Gordon. He comes into the centre. That's a good ball from Gordon to Bruno. Back to Tonali, but it's away from him. Forward ball from Tonali to Trippier on the right wing. Now Bruno, just inside the area. Rolls in Elanga. Cross is headed clear from the near post. Tonali slides at the edge of the box. Bruno has it. The skipper in the penalty box trying to deliver. Elanga put out by Yates. It's laboured, but they are finishing the half on the attack, Newcastle. Bruno's ball to Tonali, back down the line to Trippier, inside to Bruno. This is better, Voltemada for Gordon. And the first touch allowed Morato to clear, puts it into the stands. Elanga takes the throw. Trippier for Tonali. Now up the line to Elanga. What's happened? Two balls on the pitch. Referee's going to drop the ball at the right boot of Kieran Trippier. Moved inside to Joelinton. This is Bruno on the corner of the box. Gordon, Voltemada. Still Voltemada. Joelinton blocked on the way through to goal. Out to Tonali. Sandro Tonali, first time with his right foot wide of the left-hand post. And now there are some afters. Voltemada separating players. It's kicking off. I think it's Bruno. The referee wants to have a word. 2 minutes of additional time has been added. Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest 0. I didn't see what the flashpoint was, but they had a couple of efforts there. One blocked, it was goal bound, and then the other wide from Tonali.
Yeah, counter Tonali, he's capable of hitting them from there as well. Don't know what all that was about.
It's all been sorted out, well, seemingly has been. Into the additional period then. Not a classic. Sells onto the head of Dan Burn. Jair Cunha away. Burns flicked it back. Botman does well against Wood. And now chipping it into the middle for Bruno to Voltemade. Oh, what a pass that is on the volley to Trippier. Brilliantly done. Now Elanga leaves it for Bruno. And he can't get away. He was in the Forest half, facing the goal with 2 on him. And the visitors get it back and then clear. 0-0. Dan Burn makes his way forwards. Gordon drops in. Chow now to Trippier, inside for Bruno. Botman's available just ahead of the centre circle. It's Gordon who's in front of Botman, who gets it. Then on to Bruno again, dragged back, looking for Joelinton, lifted into the box, headed away. Tonali nods it down. Elanga on the corner of the penalty area. Trippier, the cross is deflected behind for a corner. There's some appeals for handball. Don't know whether it was in the box.
No, it wasn't in
or
the box.
Outside the box. Nico Williams when he blocked it. Yeah, he was outside. Probably did hit the hand, but it's corner. Might be the last piece of play in the first half. And from the right, Sandro Tonali. Dan Burn trying to get there. Forrest flick it away, and there is the half-time whistle from Peter Banks. It's goalless at St James's Park, and it hasn't been a particularly great game, John Anderson.
No, it hasn't been a classic. Hasn't been too many chances. I think we've been pedestrian in what we've been doing. Need to up the tempo. It's too easy for Forest. Seeing the ball in front of them all the time, we need to get in behind them. They're getting a little bit of joy down their right, getting in behind Dan Burn, but neither side have done enough, have they? Hasn't been. Yeah. Sells has had a save to make from Joelinton header, but apart from that, hasn't been a great deal in the game.
Finally, for the moment, are you surprised by the way that it's been? And just watching Tonali come off last on his own, looks like he's still a little bit sore from maybe from the treatment that he had, which seemed to be on a knee problem. We'll wait and see, and hopefully he'll be okay for the second half. But after the other night, the problems Nottingham Forest have had, the way that they are to a new style of play, it's surprised it's been like this.
Yeah, exactly. More from what I have to say. I thought after the other night, we come into this, we've been full of energy, full of buzz. We haven't been, as I said, we've been very, very late. We've done, but kicking down the hill second half.
That second half live right here on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds out back break. St James's Park, Newcastle United 0, Nottingham Forest.
Scott Meakin, BBC Radio Newcastle.
Now do me a favour, keep the screaming down to a minimum, because Nordy's boy band Blue.
It's really lovely to be back together, touring around. We've got a new album out, Give One Last Time, but we've got a brand new 25th anniversary tour happening.
It's a great milestone to have in this business, doing something we love. It's just a testament to us as a band and the music that we've created over the years, and people still want to listen to and give us, the love that we've always had.
We've always thought that we're growing with our fans. and we've been their soundtrack.
Yeah, it needs to be an improvement. Need to up the tempo. Need to create more.
Well, they kicked off Newcastle and started positively. Tonali finding Elanga on the near side. It's played it in towards the box at an angle, but straight to a red shirt. A man of the match the other night. Looking for a key contribution from Elanga today. He's not the only player, but things haven't quite come together, have they? Yet. Forest throw, Trippier header, Yates belts it forwards. Pope leaves his penalty box, takes a touch, not the easiest ball to control. And from the corner, lifts it away. That's a header from Elanga, straight to Yates. Trippier's got it, and up it goes, and then out on the near side from Trippier's forward ball. For United, Ramsdale, Share, Lascelles, Barnes, Kraft, Osula, Murphy, Willock, Miley, Forrest, Jean-Victor the goalkeeper, Murillo, Sangare, Hudson-Odoi, Dominguez, Igor Jesus, Hutchinson, McAtee and Bakwa. Sells outside the penalty area, Gordon closing down the defender Jair Cunha, challenged by Byrne, away it goes, then back to Sells. Both of these teams played European football midweek. Newcastle Wednesday, Forest Thursday. And there's been definitely a lack of intensity about the play today. United unchanged. Forest made 4 changes. Tonali, Anderson on his shoulder, gets it back from Trippier. Then Tonali looking for Elanga. Little flick back to Bruno. Now Joelinton in space. And his pass towards Gordon, who's managed to bring it down. Voltemada, edge of the area, challenge there from Morato. They get it clear, and Bruno with a ball out to the left wing that goes away from Joelinton and out.
No, it still hasn't been that spark, has it, so far? Only a couple of minutes gone in the second half, but we need to be better.
BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. And going to be another Nottingham Forest throw on the far side. In the right back position, flicked on. Botman is covering, decides to keep it in. Joelinton comes short to get it, scooped inside to Bruno, tries to get between 2 bodies, draws the foul. Plays the free kick, Voltemada deep. Sends it out to the right wing, Elanga. Low cross from Elanga. It's come for Anthony Gordon in the penalty area and it's blocked. Gordon's effort blocked.
Got nothing on it though, did he?
Forest on the far side, up the line. Challenged by, or an interception by Chow. And cleared. Second time around. Botman and Trippier at the back can bring Newcastle forwards again. They've been positive at the start of the second half. Joelinton with a ball that's behind Gordon, but then Gordon's pass for Joelinton's forward run gets him into a decent position, and he wins a throw 25 yards out on the far left-hand side. Malik Chow, centre circle. Kieran Trippier gets it up to Elanga, back down the line to Trippier, inside to Tonali, Wood on his shoulder. Here's Elanga to Tonali, then Elanga again. Ball gets away from him. Elanga chasing back. Anderson caught by Trippier on the halfway line, and free kick is the decision. Sometimes Elanga's technique and control can feel a bit loose.
He hasn't got the space that he got the other night. He was afforded so much space the other night that Forest just aren't giving them that today. So if you're not doing it, you've got to do something else.
Williams to Anderson in between 2 Newcastle defenders, but it's now back to Pope. and they go long towards Gordon. Headed away and then chested down by Sven Botman. That's a good ball for Trippier, and Elanga gets on his bike. Trippier rolls him in the corner. Elanga on the outside of Williams, and the cross turned behind by Morato. Trippier to take it, forwards he goes. Fifth minute of the second half. Trippier to Elanga and back again. The ball back to Trippier favoured the defender. Elanga's now trying to claim a foul, having challenged for it. It's sloppy play. Byrne being held by Ndoye, and the referee finally blows his whistle at the other end of the pitch. And Newcastle take the free kick, rolling it into midfield, and Joe Linton for Gordon gets his head down and goes, and is still going, Anthony Gordon, and it's a cross into the 6-yard box. Voltemada!
Oh, what a block that is!
It hit the defender and fell nicely for Nick Voltemada, and following up, right footed, smashed it towards goal, and it's blocked. Maybe he should have scored, but great defending, big defending from Nottingham Forest, and it remains 0-0.
Huge chance, huge chance. Wasn't the greatest defending in the world, but oh!
Free kick for Nottingham Forest, challenge on the far side.
Yeah, Dan Burns just gone straight through the back of Gibbs White.
Nil-nil still on BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app.
It was Morato who gave it away, but he made up for it with the block.
Anderson with a good ball, good technique to find Williams on the near side. Then Anderson looking to play it in behind Chow, but he read that situation, and Ndoye is with him. Chow back to Pope and away from the goalkeeper, long to Voltemada. Milenkovic has won it, then Tonali gets it back. Trippier to Bruno, onto Tonali, well played. Tonali for Elanga, two in the middle. This is a big moment. Anthony Elanga.
Oh, he's got to be quicker. He's got to be quicker. He's got to whip it. He's got away, and he waits and he waits, and he gives the defender the opportunity to get back and get a block in. He's got to do better now.
It will be a corner kick to Newcastle United, but it could have been more. And Elanga once again in a good position, but just not quite the right decision. Barnes and Murphy warm up along with Miley, and Newcastle think that Morato is just wasting time. Jason Tyndall is straight to fourth official Rob Jones. Morato seemed to require treatment, but then didn't, and then decided to tie his bootlace while he was down. 54th minute, Tonali, out-swinging corner kick. Byrne goes down in the middle, Forrest head away, Gordon back in. Yates with a clearance, then Gordon again. Chow can't take it under control.
But
it's a goal kick.
It's all rushed. There's nothing being created. It's just.
Referee saying wait. Was there a possible foul on Dan Byrne? Newcastle felt there might be. Referee telling Forrest to wait. VAR are having a look. We don't have the graphics yet for a full VAR check. And now the match is going to resume while they had a quick look at that. Challenge on Byrne in the box, 0-0. Tonali header. Voltemada, Milenkovic all over him. Well, 52,000 and Eddie Howe can't believe it. Howe with his arms outstretched, wondering why no decision was given there. It's gone for a Newcastle throw on the left wing. Now back to Botman on halfway. Diagonal ball towards Trippier, but beaten in the air by Nico Williams, and Dan Undoy for Nottingham Forest on his way towards Newcastle's goal. Here's Undoy to Williams, and it's a comfortable save for Nick Pope. Williams started that attack, got up in support, but his tame effort, left-footed, just inside the box, easily saved. 0-0. Bruno to Trippier for Joelinton in the attack, and Elanga here heads for the line, wins another corner. Well, that's a bit better for Elanga, a bit more direct in terms of making a decision and better control. They needed to do more, and they have done more in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. And that
a bit more intent about it.
And that Voltemada chance, the block, so crucial for Nottingham Forest. Looked like he was going to score again for Newcastle United, Nick Voltemada, and break the deadlock. Tonali's corner now, Chow's down in the box, and Byrne as well, edge of the area. And, well, there is real fury in the stands at the way that Nottingham Forest are being physical with Newcastle United. The ball was played in, the referee stopped it. But if the challenge happens before the ball's in play, then there's nothing that can be done. The referee wants to talk to a couple of players, Dan Byrne included. Now Newcastle turn on the referee just as the Forest fans did in the first half. As twice Dan Byrne's been dragged to the floor. Ball wasn't in play, so they have to take the corner. Now they do from Tonali. Too high for Bruno in the middle. Trippier back out towards Tonali on his thigh. Nice first touch. Up to Elanga. Elanga has got away from Anderson and delivered the cross, but it's headed back out to the near side by the Forest defence, and Gibbs White's lost it to Joelinton. Trippier here into Chow, who's in midfield. Gets it back from Joelinton, played nice football there, Chow. Tonali chips it in, too high for Voltemada. Not one of Tonali's better deliveries. Bruno then gets it back from Gibbs White, who stays down, but no foul. Dan Byrne for Bruno. Bruno! What a finish! Bruno Guimaraes with a big moment and a big goal for Newcastle United at the Gallagher end. Curled it away from Sells and into the far corner. Gibbs White was challenged in the build-up and stayed down. Forest appealed for a foul, nothing was given. Byrne carried Newcastle forwards and Bruno finished. And the captain in the 59th minute makes it Newcastle United 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Well, that's the first real bit of quality, isn't it? Gibbs White went looking for the free kick, didn't get it. Play goes on to quality finish.
Bruno with Gibbs White. What do you think about that challenge? Because you've just seen it back. Is there a foul?
That could be looked at.
So you think VAR might overturn this? Bruno involved, both with the challenge. Goal is given. Goal awarded by referee Peter Banks on field, and Chris Kavanagh, the VAR, decides that it doesn't need a review. So, the original decision stands. Newcastle lead 1-0. And they needed that.
Yeah, as I said, it's the first real bit of quality that's been in the game.
Tonali now for Voltemada. He drags it back and is being pulled by Milenkovic. Now Voltemada takes the quick free kick out to captain Bruno, who's got it under control here, dragged it back and then lost out to Morato. He plays a quick one, referee's not ready. Ball was moving, he says. St James's Park is close to full volume. Fans have been getting involved, getting annoyed about decisions and challenges. And that's often what helps turn things. You've seen it again, the build-up, the challenge. You've seen it from a couple of angles. Now Dan Burn is behind Gibbs White. Bruno comes in from the front, makes a challenge to push the ball away, but then comes in. There's physical contact with Gibbs White. Forest win it back at the other end, by the way. Here's Gibbs White in the box. Burn makes an important block. Danger's not clear though. Yates. And now a cross looking for Wood. Headed away by Botman in front of the post. Williams. Forest, he's offside, Savona, and now the flag goes up.
Chris Wood's had.
He had one last week against Sunderland that he put wide from a couple of yards out, and there he's headed it up, but not necessarily towards goal. It's more gone away from goal, like back across the box.
He would have been offside anyway.
In fact, he didn't head it, he missed it, it came off his leg.
Came off his heel.
Went to head it, like he was stooping trying to head it, and it hit his foot. Wood there does well on this occasion to find Ndoye just outside the penalty area, and Yates forwards from midfield heads it into the hands of Pope comfortably. Newcastle 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Just going back to what I was describing, the Bruno challenge on Gibbs White in the build-up to the goal. The more you see it, you seem more convinced that it should have been
it's
looked at properly.
No, I just think it's a coming together. You know, you get football and coming togethers. Not all coming together as a free kicks.
Forwards up the right, looking for Elanga, but picked up by Sells. Morato straight to Trippier, headed to Bruno, who takes a touch, and now Tenali. Elanga here, got a man at his back, finds Tenali again, sidesteps one Forest defender, plays it to Joelinton, who gets a return ball from Gordon. Now Bruno on to Trippier. Newcastle United in a good position. Elanga in the penalty area. Back out to Bruno. Voltemada wants it back stick. Bruno to Elanga. Oh, Elanga's hit his shin as he tried to play the 1-2. Now Ndoye gets a free kick. It's Tenali who blocked him off, although there was a bit of help there from Elanga. BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. There will be Nottingham Forest changes. In fact, there will be 3 of them any moment. 64th minute. And now they are made. Chris Wood, in his last involvement there. Bit of link-up play after he had that chance that came off his foot and went across the box. Replaced by Igor Jesus, the Brazilian international. Forest's top scorer this season with 4 goals.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It just hasn't happened for Woods today.
Ryan Yates replaced by Callum Hudson-Odoi, the pacey winger, plays off the left, and Omari Hutchinson, signed from Ipswich in the summer. He is on. Now what they've done is they've changed their forward line. Nottingham Forest, and they're looking for Igor Jesus immediately behind Chow. Nick Pope is there. This is Tenali. Got it in an area where he was surrounded by red shirts, but back to Trippier, and now Botman over to Burn. Played against a Forest attacker, and away by Botman and out of play on the far side. Newcastle have a 1-0 lead. Milenkovic, Voltemada close by. Anderson finds a bit of space, right side of central midfield. Sven Botman makes a challenge there on Igor Jesus. Elliot Anderson is quickest to react and has the ball. He's been everywhere, Anderson, hasn't he? He had a good game.
He's played well, hasn't he?
Hutchinson in the corner. He's left-footed, playing on the right, the little winger. But tackled there by the much bigger, physically imposing Joelinton, and it's a throw for Newcastle at left-back. Barnes back out warming up. With Miley, Willock and Murphy. Joelinton's got the ball from the throw back to Byrne. Voltemada can't get near it. Jay Acuna heads away. Joelinton with it now. And Tonali up to Voltemada. Oh, helped on beautifully for Bruno. And then into the path of Gordon. Good Newcastle attacking play. Gordon for the goal line. Delivers the cross. Oh, Elanga was close. But Morato just got his head to it. Then Gibbs-White got up and headed clear, and Bruno made contact in the challenge.
This referee is atrocious. He's awful.
1-0 to Newcastle, now 2-0 to Aston Villa. Doniel Marlon with both. Villa 2, Burnley 0. Palace still 1-0 up at Everton through Daniel Munoz's first half goal. And the own goal from the Brighton goalkeeper, Bart Verbruggen, means that it's still Wolves 1, Brighton 0. 4:30, Brentford versus Manchester City. Botman went for a challenge there, and the ball went through to the Newcastle back line. Now it's forwards, Voltemada trying to win it. And what's that free kick for?
No idea.
Forest take it, then they get it straight back to Newcastle. Trippier to Elanga, taken down by Morato, who will get a yellow card. Close to the corner of the penalty area. Just wanted to see Elanga get away and get into the box. Morato wasn't going to allow that to happen. Barnes and Murphy are being readied. It's scrappy and stop-start and frustrating because of that. The constant whistling of the referee. Free kick though, midway through the second half, and with a 1-0 lead. Just to confirm, Forest took off Yates and Doy and Wood for Hudson-Odoi, Hutchinson and Igor Jesus. And Gibbs-White's dropped into the midfield. Ange Postecoglou watching with his arms folded. Never looks happy, no matter what the situation is, but you can understand why. 7th match in charge, and Newcastle are in front. Tonali takes the free kick. It's flicked away. Gordon's the player to get there, just outside the box. A couple of step-overs. Oh, then tackled. They've got to get black and white shirts back here. Gordon lost it in a bad area. To be fair to him, he's made a block, and the ball's gone out. And it gives Eddie Howe the opportunity to make 2 changes. And Anthony Gordon is going off in one of them, replaced by Harvey Barnes. Jogs over to the near touchline, and in another straight switch. Anthony Elanga against his old club, who is leaving the pitch, to be replaced by Jacob Murphy.
Yeah, it hasn't happened for Elanga, has it? Nowhere near the standards that he was at the other night.
Shake of the head from Gordon, looks frustrated with his afternoon. But they're part of a combined effort that has, with 20 minutes remaining, Newcastle a goal up here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Joelinton has fouled Anderson. As he tried to give him the slip. 3 Forest players in the book. No yellow cards for Newcastle yet. Joelinton's had a few challenges that maybe in their own right would have warranted a yellow.
Exactly.
Forest up this near touchline. Williams, who's under pressure. Wasn't the best ball to him. It's gone out for a United throw. Trippier next to the bench. This is the 7th match in a 23-day period. Trippier and Tonali, lovely play. Lifting the ball up, heading it to each other. They now look for Bruno up the line. Forest have it back. And Anderson to Williams. It's gone out, and it's a throw for Newcastle United, middle of the Forest half. Now they return in 13 days' time away at Brighton, and then it's 7 matches in another 23-day period. Just playing every 3 or 4 days at the moment, with Europe and the League Cup on top of the Premier League. Trippier to Voltemada, then back again. Can't hold it this time. And Gibbs White away, but chested by Chow. Uses his size to keep the ball. And Anderson has caught Tonali after the referee let play go. It's one of these where, because this referee lets it go for 2 or 3 seconds, a bit like with the, the delayed offside flag, that you let it go and someone will get injured because the whistle isn't blown immediately.
Yeah. But he's just a poor referee.
Murphy round the corner, away from Bruno, who pushed on. Morato to Milenkovic, dispossessed by big Nick Voltemada. Back to Botman, Burn on to Joe Linton. Here's Harvey Barnes for the first time since coming on. Can he do what he did the other night and have an impact, where he scored the 4th goal? Linking up with Bruno, Barnes in the area. Oh, and Forrest has gone behind for a corner. Got in a bit of a tangle at the back. Goalkeeper and Milenkovic. Newcastle corner kick on the left.
He's wanting his goalkeeper to come and pick it up. He's right as well. He should get there an awful lot quicker, Sells.
'73rd minute. Dan Burn and Nick Voltemada standing in front of the goalkeeper. Bruno round the back. Joe Linton makes his move to the front post. Tonali's corner, header by Igor Jesus, the substitute striker. Murphy to Trippier, the furthest player back, centre circle, diagonal ball, looking for Sandro Tonali. Oh, Tonali! Oh my goodness! Tonali volley off the inside of his left boot. It may well have been the sort of ball you expected to turn into a cross, but it very nearly dropped in, and Matt Sells had to tip it over.
Yeah, he's trying to cross that, isn't he? He nearly catches Sells out, gets in behind, good ball, Trippier. And he's trying to play that across goal, gets it all wrong.
Well, Tonali there off his left boot, and now the corner he's going to take with his right, out swinger to the back of the box. Malik Chow, Voltemada, did that go in? No, it's hit the underside of the bar and come out, and the goal line technology says no goal. It remains 1-0 to Newcastle. Couple of opportunities in there, and now a free kick for Forest in midfield. Let's go back through that. Voltemada, he's had 2 big chances, one was blocked, and there it crashed off the underside of the bar as it came to him about, what was he, 6 yards out. Hit the underside of the bar. The entire ball didn't cross the line.
No, big chance. Reacts well, doesn't he?
Yeah, in fact, it didn't even hit the line. It bounced down ahead of the line. Free kick for Nottingham Forest. 75 minutes played on BBC Radio Newcastle. You'll be able to discuss the match with us tomorrow night on Total Sport between 6 and 8. Forest, good cross from the right. They haven't dealt with it, United. Then there's a challenge in the penalty area, and some Nottingham Forest appeals, and it's offside. It's brought back for offside against Igor Jesus. Amari Hutchinson was challenged, but offside goes back to an earlier call rather than the tackle. So whether he thought it was a penalty or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah, he is offside.
Hutchinson was offside, actually, ahead of Igor Jesus. correct decision.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Byrne with a header. Bruno on. Voltemada has come off his shoulder, but he's tried to take it down under control and being wrestled, trying to fight his way back. Forest are able to give it to the goalkeeper. Sells. It took a long time over that, and then lifted it onto the head of Malik Chow. Tenali here for Jacob Murphy on the near touchline. Newcastle lead 1-0. Voltemada, ole, ole, ole is the song they have for him. Anderson with a trip on Joe Linton, but a role reversal there.
I'd love to know how many free kicks there's been in this game.
I'll try and find out for you. Murphy takes it inside, Nico Williams. Jacob Murphy's done well, threads it through for Bruno, but eased out of it by Milenkovic, the strength of the big defender. Was what Nottingham Forest needed there, and they're making another change now. Dylan Bakwa, who is a forward they signed for 30 million from Strasbourg on transfer deadline day.
They've gone to a back four.
And they've taken off Morato. Yeah. And played out short. Back to Milenkovic, swung away. Tenali header. Williams with a header. Then Tenali gets his boot to the ball. It finds Voltemada. And Murphy couldn't take it forwards under control. Forest have it back edge of the penalty area. Gibbs White. Tenali intercepts. Joe Linton looking for Tenali. Here's an opportunity. Sandro Tenali. Jacob Murphy. He could hit it. He does. It's blocked. Williams might have hit him just in the chest there. Jacob Murphy on the near side, given away, looking for Trippier. Hudson-Odoi with good feet to get away. Newcastle have to defend carefully here. Callum Hudson-Odoi into the penalty area on the outside. Hudson-Odoi, Pope spilled it, and Botman tries to clear. It's gone across the penalty box. Joe Linton's header, and a throw near the corner flag.
Unbelievable feat.
Back in play, but they've gone back towards midfield and now halfway with it, Forest. 12 minutes remaining. There's one goal in it last season, but it was 4-3 this fixture. Now it's 1-0 in Newcastle's favour. Bruno Guimaraes the scorer. Elliot Anderson finds Callum Hudson-Odoi. I was just thinking I hadn't really mentioned Hudson-Odoi, and then he goes and does that. Here's Gibbs White. The substitute Bakwa, and over the top from Gibbs White from just inside the area. 28 fouls committed in the match in total.
Seemed an awful lot more than that.
Do you want to know what the expected goals is?
Not really.
You're all right.
No, not really.
Okay, you can leave that one. It's not one of your favourite stats. One of the metrics they apply. It's to do with chance quality. But they call it expected goals. This is Tenali. Murphy. Looking for Bruno. Forwards. Voltemada trying to get in behind Jay Acuna. And the defender was struggling to deal with Voltemada's presence. It's a throw on the right wing for Newcastle, about 15 yards out. Burnley have pulled a goal back. It's Aston Villa 2, Burnley 1, and Everton have equalised against Crystal Palace 1-1 in that game. Kieran Trippier with Newcastle's throw, short to Joe Linton. Nice control, back to Murphy. Great ball in! Oh, what a big save from Sells to deny Malik Chow a first Newcastle United goal. Sells just made the block, it hit him. He was in the right place. Now Murphy whipping it in. Barnes is in. Harvey Barnes, another big save from Sells. Murphy saw a gap, whipped it in to the near side of the box where Barnes made the run. And Sells was off his line. Barnes took it under control, released the shot, but the goalkeeper smothered.
Great save. It's a great run. That's 2 top saves he's made.
Chow with his left boot onto the left boot of Sells to beat it out, and then Barnes from about 8 yards. Sells got down and made the block at quite close range. Big goalkeeping. Newcastle 1, Nottingham Forest 0. But they could have had a crucial second there from either of those opportunities. Now given away by Forest. Joelinton to Barnes. Decides to go out to the left touchline, back to Byrne, chip forwards. Voltemada chasing, gets there before Milenkovic, but didn't really have it under control. Now, Elliot Anderson, penalty! Elliot Anderson's given away a penalty on his return to Newcastle United. Voltemada had it in the corner, won back by Milenkovic, who played it inside in the box towards Anderson. But Newcastle got there first. And then the challenge from Anderson was a bit loose. He just didn't know that Bruno was coming in, and he clattered him. And Peter Banks has pointed to the spot. And Nick Voltemada, who wanted to take the penalties in Brussels in the Champions League on Wednesday, has grabbed the ball. But for a VAR check, it's a penalty for Newcastle. And Voltemada with the opportunity to score from 12 yards.
It's a nailed-on penalty. It just gets away from Anderson, doesn't it? Tries to retrieve it and he just takes him out.
Matt Sells has come sprinting to the touchline to speak to a Forest member of staff. Maybe he's looking for information about Voltemada's penalty position, penalty technique. I think there's just been a yellow card for Gibbs White. Definitely a Forest player, could be someone else. We'll confirm that in a second. But having just had 2 big chances, saved by Matt Sells, Chow and then Barnes. And Voltemada hitting the bar and having one blocked in front of goal in the second half. They could have been further ahead already. Now they've got a penalty kick at the Gallagher end, and it's the new boy, Big Nick, with a penalty kick against former Newcastle United goalkeeper Sells, who's moving across his line. In the 84th minute, hands on hips, Voltemada, Gallagher end. Nick Voltemada into the top corner. What a confident penalty. Sells didn't even move. And Nick Voltemada has scored in his first 3 Premier League appearances at St James's Park, emulating Alan Shearer and Les Ferdinand. They are the only 3 players to do that in esteemed company. Their record signing, who has made an impressive start in black and white, and it might be the goal that delivers 3 points. It's Newcastle United 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Oh, it's a quality penalty. He just tucks it in that top right-hand corner. Sells never moves. Boom. Brilliant.
The game here last season, do you remember Isak took a penalty and he almost Panenka'd it, and Sells didn't move either, and he was in the middle of the goal and it went over the top of it.
Yeah.
It was a curious approach in terms of the goalkeeping, because it was almost beyond him before he moved, and they didn't move either, but it was in the corner. He was never getting that. 2-0. I mean, they've had big chances in the second half, so it's good that they've finally been able to take one, even though it's come from the penalty spot on there.
Yeah, Sells has made a couple of top saves, been better second half. Mind you, they had to be fair, because
you might be able to hear the chant, and it's not coming from the Forest fans, or it might be, but it's definitely coming from the Newcastle fans at Ange Postecoglou, you're getting sacked in the morning. That's what his own fans were singing to him after they lost in the Europa League on Thursday. They also were singing in praise and support of former manager Nuno, who left his position after a breakdown in relationship with the owner, Evangelos Marinakis. Newcastle United 2, Nottingham Forest 0. 4 minutes of the 90 to play. Bruno and a Voltemada penalty. A good record against Nottingham Forest in recent times. It's looking like it's going to be 7 wins out of 8 against them and 4 in a row. And Elliot Anderson gave away the penalty, but he's had a fine game in midfield, hasn't he? He's done very well. So unfortunate for him, but he's played to a high standard again.
The penalty, it's just got away from him. Little ball played into him, his touch was heavy, got away from him. Tried to retrieve the situation, just dived in.
Byrne with a header, Tonali a clearance, which takes a deflection off a Forest player on the far side, now into the middle. Gibbs White slid in and just beat Jacob Murphy to the ball, and now Nico Williams. Eddie Howe waving frantically at a couple of his players. They've made 2 changes, and there's going to be 2 more for Newcastle, Miley and Osula. They won't have long. Here's Anderson making a run. They try to find him with a left-footed ball curled in from the right wing. Pope picks it up, rolls it out to Tonali quickly, and they try and make their way forwards, but then they come back, Newcastle. Up to Voltemada. His first touch was good, but not good enough to keep in possession. Milenkovic nicked it. Looks like he's starting to tire, the German. That might be why Osula is going to come on next time the ball goes out. Only 2.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Eddie Howe with some lengthy instructions for Lewis Miley. Hudson-Odoi's in the middle here for Forest, and Anderson out left wing. The line to Williams, back to Anderson. 2-0 Newcastle lead. Gibbs White in the Forest half in the centre circle. Savona here. And Bakwa intercepted by Tonali. It's Forest possession, and then they win it back again. And the 2 boys who have been waiting to come on are still waiting. Omari Hutchinson to Nico Williams, tries to get away from Bruno. Finds a pass to Gibbs White up the line. Forest trying to get one back. And a deep cross, Murphy on his chest. And he lifts it away. At this rate, Osula and Miley might not get on. Here's Williams. Back to Jair Cunha. Milenkovic out to Hudson-Odoi. Away into the corner. And away from Trippier. Hudson-Odoi into the penalty box. Hutchinson laid off for Gibbs White and Anderson, and wide to Hudson-Odoi again. Deep cross caught by Pope, patted down by Pope, and then gathered at the second time of asking. And he rolls it out square. Osula looks up at the sky. They've been waiting there for a couple of minutes. Here's Harvey Barnes on a run. Milenkovic with him. Barnes takes control, and Matt Sells keeps it in. 30 seconds now to play. Eddie Howe's gone to William Osula with some instructions. So he needs to get on the pitch to carry them out. Gibbs White back to Sells. Tonali closes down. It's on the far side in the corner for Forest. Played into Milenkovic. William Osula asks how long is being added. Gonna have to get the numbers board up before those 2 can come on. Williams into the centre. Equaliser for Brighton. Molineux. Wolves 1, Brighton 1. Late goal there. Newcastle 2-0 up here on BBC Radio Newcastle. A minimum of 6 additional minutes. Williams deep cross, looking for Anderson. Trippier header. Will that go out? Yes, it does. And finally, we can make changes. Kieran Trippier's been caught in a challenge. We've now entered the first minute of the minimum 6. Here come the substitutions. Lewis Miley on for Joelinton, who somehow escaped a booking today.
Unbelievable.
And Nick Voltemada, 4 goals. He's their outright top scorer. He leaves the pitch. William Osula, his replacement. And Osula's got 3 goals himself. Did well for Barnes' goal in Belgium, didn't he, Osula, in the Champions League?
Yeah, he'll only get better and better, won't he? His penalty is a quality finish.
On come the 2 youngsters. And they have about 5 minutes to see out. Might play on a little bit longer, the referee. Hutchinson dispossessed on the goal line. Trippier away, and Osula full of running. Trying to get after that ball. Jay Cunha back to the goalkeeper. Osula goes off in pursuit and in hope of closing him down, getting it back. You're right. Dylan Bakwa on the right wing for Nottingham Forest. And Gibbs White, Miley in front of him, goes square to Anderson. All black and white shirts behind the ball. Don't want to concede one now. Here's Bakwa. It's a good looking cross. Trippier, it's hit him, and he's been able to scoop the ball clear out for a throw. Could have been a worrying moment, but Kieran Trippier reacted. Gibbs White now to Milenkovic. Savona up the line, and Bakwa taking on 2 black and white shirts. 93rd minute on BBC Radio Newcastle, and they are close to their 2nd Premier League win of the season. Gibbs White, edge of the area. Hutchinson, fair challenge. Miley for Bruno. Are they able to get away? On for Tonali, looking for Osula. Murphy has made the forward run. Osula plays it into the feet of Murphy. He's done well, wants it back. Oh, it's just missed him. And Gibbs White sliding in has helped his team out there, even though the clearance after Gibbs White's interception wasn't very good. And Chow is penalised for a challenge in midfield. Crystal Palace's unbeaten run looks like it's going to end. Everton have just scored a late second. 2-1 to Everton against Palace. Trippier takes control on his chest. Back to Pope. And plenty of height on that. It almost reaches halfway. Anderson heads on. Chow wants his keeper to come. And Pope does, near to the right corner of the box. Newcastle 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Remember, Total Sport back tomorrow on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds from 6, with plenty of reaction, and you can phone in to have your say on the match. And if you can't listen to the show live or want to catch up, search for Total Sport North East on BBC Sounds. It's a Forest throw on the right in their half of the pitch back to Sells, who made a couple of big saves. But Newcastle have beaten him twice. And the Premier League's 2nd best defence, Newcastle, with 5 conceded, only behind leaders Arsenal, who've led in 3. Crystal Palace have now conceded 5 with the 2 today. Looks like they're going to get another clean sheet. Still a couple of minutes remaining. Hutchinson for Forest. Hudson-Odoi. Level with the edge of the box. Bruno slides in, then Trippier makes a challenge. They haven't won the ball, but they've stopped the initial attack. Hudson-Odoi in possession again. Now Anderson, right-footed curling cross deep to the back of the area, headed over, then headed out by Botman. And United push up, and look who's leading the press in the 96th minute, Sandro Tonali. And how often do we see that in the dying stages? He's still full of running into the penalty area. Chow away, Botman away. Now Bruno wanting to go forwards. He's got three around him. It's back to Trippier. Now Murphy and Osula making a run. Murphy goes between two and still going. Jacob Murphy. Still Murphy. Might do it all alone. Jacob Murphy! It would have been a special goal. It was straight at Matt Sells. Osula wanted it just to be rolled in so he could go and have the chance to score. But that shot and that save is the last action in the match, and Newcastle United have their second Premier League win of the season. The final whistle is blown. They've beaten Nottingham Forest by 2-0 here at St James's, and they've moved up the table from 15th to 11th, and the Premier League standards have a better look about them from a United perspective. 2 goals in the second half. Captain Bruno Guimaraes with the first. Forest complaining about a foul in the build-up. Nothing given. VAR happy. And then a penalty from Nick Voltemada after Elliot Anderson caught Bruno in the box. 2-0 John Anderson. And after the disappointment of last Sunday in the dramatic defeat by Arsenal, 4-0 away win in the Champions League, 2-0 Premier League home win. It's been a good few days with a couple of big results.
Yeah, big result. I mean, second half performance was better. Sells made a couple of top saves with his feet to keep the scoreline, but it was comfortable in the end. They bossed the second half. They needed to be better in that second half. That's exactly what they were. Deserved wins.
The first goal, we did talk about it at the time.